What's going on, everyone? Desktops Gaming here. Welcome back to the channel. Figure we start today out with another build. Happy holidays to everyone if you're celebrating those this week. Starting out with a little housekeeping first. Like I said, we have a build coming up in the Macube110, but as far as the setup goes, this is hopefully the last time we have to look at this little temporary setup we got going on. We finally managed to order some stuff from IKEA. We were battling back and forth for a while. Either the tabletops we wanted would be out of stock or the legs we wanted would be out of stock. They finally had them both in at the same time where we'd have to ship them separately and pay 2 separate shipping costs. So luckily we were able to get those ordered. So hopefully within the week, we'll be able to set those up. They should be here, I believe, next Monday. So we'll be able to pick those up and then start constructing the new set, start adding some more decorations and lighting around here. Hopefully Santa Claus brings us some nice stuff. Let's hope for that. But like I said, hopefully we'll have all that set up by our next video where you guys don't have to look at this bare blank setup going on. So I appreciate you guys sticking around for as long as you have. We were hoping to hit around 100 this year. Like I said, we might be able to get to that. We'll see. But if you guys don't know, we do have an Instagram over at Desktops Gaming. I will link that down below as well. Like I said, we have kind of grown that more over the past year and a half or so. Like I said, then started over here, doing more long-form content for you guys to check out. But today, enough from me blabbering on, we're going to be taking a look at the Macube110. This is the MircoAtx version of the Macube310 that we checked out a while back. We posted some builds of that on our Instagram. But we're pretty big fan of Deepcool cases around here. They make some pretty cool stuff. We actually did a build in their CL500. I'll link that in the cards up here if you guys can check that out. Really nice airflow performance case, but we actually haven't done a MircoAtx build before, so we wanted to take a look at that today. So let's go ahead and get it unboxed. All right, let's go ahead and chop into it here. Haven't got to open anything new in a while. Another thing that kind of delayed this build, because we've had this case for a little bit, was waiting on a MircoAtx case. Like I said, let me know down in the comments down below. Like I said, if you guys have had some hard times getting everything this year. Like I said, it took us a bit to find, but we actually did find up a B550M Oris Pro. We do like gigabyte stuff around here, but I'm not that big of a gigabyte fanboy, although it's looking like it now because I have a bunch of gigabyte motherboards. We have an X570, a B550 ATX, and now a B550 MircoAtx. So we'll be checking that out too. Let me know if you want me to do an independent review of that. We might have to set this on the ground to get it out of the box here. And get it out of its case. Ooh, staticky. Next, a big shout out again to Deepcool for sending this one over to us to check out. Because as you can see, it actually has a 240 AO already in it. If yours comes like that, then you got pretty lucky because they don't come with these included. But we'll be using this in it today. Like I said, again, appreciate Deepcool for sending this over. Like I said, we'll be installing this in the build today. If we can get it out here, there we go. That's their 240EX White Edition. Although we might end up, because we want a little more RGB, might end up swapping out the stock fans here with their MF120 GT fans that we like so much. So we'll just set this to the side here. We'll go over a little bit about the case. Like I said, we do have the 310 version of this one. And like I said, that's the full-size ATX version of this case. But we want to check out the 110 since they've launched it. One of the things we did like a lot about the Macube310 was the front panel is toolless and the back panel is toolless. But on this one, since it is a little bit smaller of a case, a little harder to do on these, the front panel is the only one that's toolless. So it actually just slides in here. Has a little magnet clip system that holds it in place. And then your airflow actually comes in through the side panel here. It has a cutout on both sides for the side panel. So like I said, this just lifts off the front like so, and then comes down, then you can lift it off. And then the back of the chassis uses standard thumb screws. So I'm going to unscrew that. Uh-oh, they're not fully thumb screws. I'll have to get at it with a screwdriver. So I'll go ahead and back those out where we can slide this back panel out of the way. And we'll start getting some close-ups for you guys. All right, so going inside the chassis here, so it looks like we have a rear 120 already installed. Like I said, we'll probably be doing some extra fans populating inside this. Now, if you know, if you're getting it with something like this 240 AO, you know, that would be a decent setup to get you going with, because you would be able to, say, mount it in the front, you know, pull into the front so you'd have fans and then have two intakes and then one exhaust in the back. But you also have room up here up to putting the 240 up top, so you can do two 120s there, you can do the 120 in the back. And then I believe if we pop off this front panel, it's gonna pop this up. Let's see, it looks like it'll support, let's see, I believe up to a 280, looks like on the front. So you do have a little bit of room here to move some stuff around them. Going inside the chassis, like I said, it's MircoAtx form factor, so it'll fit a MircoAtx board. And then it looks like all the motherboard standoffs are already pre-installed. And the one thing they did carry over from its bigger brother, the 310, this one still has the GPU support bracket built into it. So if you are experiencing a little bit of sag, we'll get some clips of this as well. It looks like the GPU support bracket here is carried over from the Macube 310. It'll actually be able to swing over and catch underneath the card here to kind of provide some support on the end. So instead of supporting from the PCIe slots, it just has a little fold out here that you can move up and down to put underneath the card to support it. Moving around here to the top, we'll take a look at the I/O. Looks like we have a power button, USB, looks like USB 3, looks like we have two of those. We have a mic audio jack combo, and then the reset button here. So nothing too complicated up top there. Let's see, looks like we have the standard power supply basement, cutouts for 8-pin EPS. Yeah, there's two cutouts at the bottom for passing either. Like I said, don't know if you could fit GPU cables through that once the motherboard's in place, but you could definitely pass your front panel connectors, USB, all that stuff there. And there's two cutouts on the side for the either 8-pin GPU cables or, like I said, looks like a 24-pin motherboard cable there. Looks like we do have support for a 2.5-inch hard drive here, so our SSD mount there. And there's some little grommets already kind of installed onto that to provide, I guess, some dampening, which I guess wouldn't really be an issue unless you're putting a 2.5-inch regular hard drive there, since SSDs don't spin. Going around the back here, like I said, those are those little grommets there coming through for the SSDs. Looks like you have another mount here as well. Put one here. Decent size cutout for your cooler, so if you need to make any cooler adjustments after the build's already complete, you already have a cutout there to reach that. Into the bottom of the basement here, looks like we have a dust filter over the power supply. So like I said, you can still face your power supply fan down. Looks like we have our normal host of front panel connectors with our bag of goodies attached to it. So we have the USB, HD audio, as well as the front panel connectors there for your power and reset button. And then looks like we have mounting room here for a 3.5-inch drive in the base. And then looks like you could also fit another one on top or another 2.5-inch on top if you turned it the other way. All right, well that about goes over everything. So flipping around to the back, we'll just finish up back here. Like I said, the 120 already pre-installed there. Looks like there's a little cover here to get PCIe slots. They are punch out. So like I said, if you do with how these are set up, there's no removable PCIe slot here. You just punch out the ones that you're going to need depending on where your card or say capture card or something like that is. Like I said, there's no putting these back into place unless you have something that would fit it. But this little railing system just moves out of the way. You would take that out to put your screws in and then push that back into place. And then the power supply just mounts through the inside back of the chassis. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into some parts here. We're going to set this aside. Like I said, we will be using the B550 M from Aorus here. It's their Aorus Pro. So basically the MircoAtx version of our B550 Aorus Pro we already have. So we'll go and pop this out real quick, check this out. I actually haven't got a chance to open this fully yet. And tear into this. So MircoAtx always falls into the strangest form factor to me. Like I said, you know, we still have 4 DIMM slots here, plenty of connectivity. Like I said, we'll probably do a separate video on this if you guys want to check this board out, if you're into MircoAtx cases or MircoAtx builds. But it's basically the same style layout as a full-size ATX, just a little bit shorter. So it's you know, a little more square like a MircoAtx would be, but with more, you know, more features and everything. You know, still have the M4 socket, 4 DIMM slots here for expansion. It looks like we still have 2 M.2 slots here as well. Like I said, the top one here being Gen 4, still connected to the CPU there, and then the bottom one, like I said, going through the chipsets, that one would be PCIe Gen 3. So actually, probably putting our storage drive here, or we might end up going with an SSD in this one just to show it off mounting on the inside of the case, since I believe we do have a Team Group Delta RGB one we can put in there that'll look pretty cool. But like I said, VRM this board, really solid for its size. Like I said, we will do a separate, tear down on this and show off of this if you guys want to see this. So definitely comment down below if you want to check that out. But all right, I think that about wraps up everything we want to go over. Like I said, you guys have seen these guys before, I'm sure. Like I said, we're a big fan of the Castle series on the channel and over on our Instagram. Like I said, we've used the 360 version a good bit. So like I said, if you guys want to see more of this one, let me know. We'll probably do some thermal testing today and see how the cooling performance in the case does as well. And then for our card, like I said, we'll be fitting this guy into it. So we'll go ahead and check out see how the fitment of this 2070 Super from Aorus fits into it, since we have a rest of our Aorus builds and parts going on here. And then as far as power supply goes, just the Focus GX 750 unit from Seasonic here. Plenty enough for what we're gonna be doing with this. All right, well, let's jump into build mode, then we'll come back when everything's done. Hey there, future editing me. Sorry to cut this off. My maintenance guy walked in the middle of me trying to film the build montage here. So I had to go help him with that. So I had to cut this little short, came back in, realized, or didn't realize that my camera wasn't recording anymore. So you guys get to skip all the boring parts. Here's a little montage of how it came together. All right, guys, so the build is complete. What do you think? So we had pretty good fun building this guy out. We got a few more things to do real quick, though. Got some peels to do. God, that one's on there. It's the back part of it. No. This one's not as satisfying. It's stuck underneath the handle, it seems like. They wrapped it around it, one of the two. Yeah, I'm not completely sure how they wanted you to get this off. Well, building in the rest of the case wasn't this difficult. I definitely want to still get the rest of this plastic off. It's gonna look weird and bother me sitting right there. I don't believe this comes off. Oh, well, anyway, we do have one more peel to do. I'm gonna come grab you guys to do that. There we are. We have one more peel. Now it's complete. All right, so as you guys can see, the build turned out pretty well. Like I said, I'm overall satisfied with how the build came out. We did add a few fans along to help the case along. It only comes with one stock rear exhaust fan, but that's kind of to be expected in this price range. This case is $49.99 at price of filming for this Macube110 here. Its MircoAtx brother to the Macube310. Like I said, as far as specs, we'll run them down real quick. We did install some MF120 GT fans to replace not only the back stock fan, but add 2 fans up front. And then we did add 2 of the MF120 GT fans along the radiator at the top here. A little different than what the stock radiator comes with. It does come with white fans from Deepcool, but we did want to have them all matching, so we had them all match. But do keep that in mind when looking at a case in this price range. Like I said, this case is only $49.99, but it only comes with one fan, that one rear fan in the back. So do keep into account if you are looking at a case in this price range. If you do need to add fans to it and you don't say get fans with an AIO if you're not going to run an AIO, or want to add some extra intake fans here. We didn't test in this configuration, but maybe if you put your AIO up front and then just had the one exhaust fan, that may be fine. But like I said, we still would prefer to have some extra help intake and some extra help exhausting as well. So keep that into take that into account when you're looking at a case in this price range. Well, it's only 50 bucks. You will maybe have to add $20 to $30 worth of fans, so that may push it into a whole different price bracket since this one doesn't come with any fans. But overall, really impressed with the build quality for what you're getting for $49.99 here. Like I said, plenty of room on the back side for power supplies, plenty of room for cable management. We didn't have any issues closing the back panel and locking that in place. Ventilation overall really solid. Was definitely impressed, and we'll go over this in the benchmarks when we get to that. But for just the cutouts on the side here, and of course we did all the benchmarks with the front panel on. We just took them off to mitigate some reflections for you guys. But you only have these strips along the side here, and we'll get some close-ups of this. You only have these little strips along the side here to actually provide ventilation for the front panel here. You still have the magnetic filter at the top for exhaust. Well, you could set this up for an intake if you wanted to. Most people will have it set up to exhaust out here, but you do have that dust filter to take advantage of that if you do want to say intake from here instead. But most people typically, especially if you're going to put the right up top, they're going to have it exhaust and then have intake at the front. You don't typically want hot air blowing back out at you, so you want to get it away from you. But you could still set that up in that orientation if you wanted to. But like, so we were impressed with the thermals this was able to provide, considering that it's just this kind of strip on the side, kind of like the Macube310. On each side, it'll have these little strips to intake for the front fans there. So like I said, overall quality, it's pretty good. The only thing we really noticed different comparing this to the 310, other than just form factor, was it didn't have the included little fan hub on the back like the 310 did. Now again, not a deal breaker at this price range, but that was a pretty cool feature to see on the Macube310, especially considering that it helps maybe if you don't want to have to run each individual fan cable to a different header on your motherboard, or say you don't have enough to cover every fan you have. Having that splitter basically mounted in the case on the 310 version of this case helps a little bit, and this one doesn't have it. Again, not that big of a deal breaker, but it was a nice feature to see on that Macube310. Like I said, finishing over some specs here. Like I said, we just went with our R5-3600 in here. Like I said, we have the Deepcool Castle 240EX edition cooling the CPU there, using our typical Aorus 2070 Super. Here in the base, we have the MF120 GT fans, like I mentioned earlier. Have some easy DLFAB cable extension, easy DLFAB cable extensions, excuse me. And then we also stuck a Team SSD here. It's one of their Delta RGB editions, as well as their Delta RGB RAM. We actually went with 64 gigs in this layout. All right, so enough on all of this guy. Let's go over some specs and how well it performed thermally, and I'll quit blabbering and we'll jump into some benchmarks. Alright guys, so overall the Macube110 is a great case in the form factor. It's not going to win the best in thermal performance for, you know, its design, but like I said, unless you're shooting for the craziest overclocks in the world, as you saw from the thermals there, even under worst case scenario, you know, this guy's still going to be able to hold up in the configuration we put it in. You know, like I said, again, unless you're chasing world-class overclocks, use it day-to-day use, gaming, streaming, both, you're going to be fine with a configuration like this, considering, you know, we put a little extra fans to help it out. So after testing in such larger cases all the time and having bigger cases on my desk, it is nice to be in this form factor without having to go all the way down to, you know, the small form factor realm and, you know, mini ITX systems. Even though, you know, we do enjoy small form factor builds around here, yeah, I feel like this is a nice happy medium because MircoAtx still gives you 4 DIMM slots. You still have plenty of expandability here. You know, we're still in the B550 chipset. Again, let us know if you want to see more of this Aorus Pro here, this B550M. We'll definitely do another piece on it if you want to. You know, so it's kind of in this weird middle ground of just shrinking down the footprint of ATX while still getting most, if not all, the performance of full-size ATX. So again, we just want to thank Deepcool for sending out the Macube110 for us to check out, as well as the AO we used in the build here. And we really want to thank you guys for stopping by and checking out the channel. Like I said, this has been a crazy year, but a cool year at the same time because, like I said, you know, we got this rolling kind of midway through the year. We didn't expect to get anybody to come by and watch, so I do appreciate you guys for that. You know, we spent a year and a half or so on Instagram doing content pieces over there, and we still love doing that, but, you know, I've definitely enjoyed this as well. I like producing content, you know, for you guys and showing some stuff off, but also like learning from you guys, and I get feedback here I don't really get over on the Instagram. You know, people will stop by, they'll double click the picture, they think it's really cool, but, you know, I don't really get the feedback. Like when we did the Arctic Liquid Freezer 2, the 420mm edition, you know, I was talking about, hey, we're looking for a case to put this in. You know, and I just got so many of you guys commenting saying, hey, you know, check this one out, check this one out. You know, some cases that I'd seen before, some I haven't checked out in a while. You know, so I like having that feedback and you guys really engaging with it and, you know, giving us more to know, more to learn, more to check into. You know, and like I said, Instagram's more just a, you know, a vanity, if anything. And like I said, even though, you know, I do have plenty of people over there I love, you know, I've definitely enjoyed this and I hope, you know, continue it to grow. I never thought we'd be close to even 100 subs by the end of the year. You know, maybe we'll go even further. You know, like I said, I definitely like growing this number a little more here recently than, you know, just over on the Instagram. You know, if you guys do want to check that out, I would appreciate it, but I'm, you know, just fine with you guys being here. So, you know, like I said, I just really enjoyed all those comments over there. If you guys do, you know, peruse the channel a good bit, I don't know if you guys caught it, but a couple of videos back, we did one of the Nova board case. We were talking about doing a giveaway with that over there. Like I said, we pretty much have decided to do that. Because I had a couple people talking about it during the video, and I mentioned it during the video. We might be able to do a giveaway on that. So like I said, I'll link it in the cards here if you guys want to check that out, the review we did of it. But like I said, we will kind of organize, you know, toward the beginning of the new year here, we're going to take a little time off for the holiday and all that good jazz. But like I said, we still want to put together that giveaway to let you guys check out that cool little mini ITX form factor case. Since we were taking a look at a smaller case today, it kind of jogged my memory. Like, hey, let's go and do a giveaway on that. Why not? But enough of my rambling. I do appreciate you guys for stopping by. Like I said in the beginning of the video, we do have the desk finally coming in next week, so hopefully this will be the last time you see the little temp setup here. We're going to be building that L desk, like I said, so have a little more room to build on and play on, a new little office space to work in, where I don't have to keep moving stuff around on this desk as much. So again, I do appreciate you guys dropping by. I hope you do have some happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you happen to be celebrating at the time. I just appreciate you being here with me. So again, thank you guys for stopping by. Take it easy.